What's up, guys? I'm sitting here in this cold, dark room to teach you some things about good old wheel fitment. How does wheel fitment work and what you need to know to pick out the right set of wheels for yourself. The right type is what you, the owner, likes. There isn't one perfect fitment and it varies from scene to scene. So no, folks, one size does not fit all. Fender To Lip. The name pretty much explains itself. This is mainly for the showboys, but I love it. It's hard to achieve because you need to dial in your fitment perfectly, but it's well worth the look. It can be very easy to damage your fenders though, especially if you're running static Fender To Lip, so be careful. Honestly, shout out to those that do this. You all have our respect. Flush. This type of fitment looks good on any build. It's when the wheel and the tire are flush to the outside of the car, or fender, if you will. You can achieve this with any type of suspension as long as you pick out the right size wheels. Poke. Now there's good poke and bad poke. Bad poke is caused from picking the wrong fitment for your car, and you kind of look like a monster truck. Good poke is for functional builds. You might see this more on track builds, and it looks super aggressive. Poke is where the wheel sits slightly further out from the outside or the fender of the car. Tuck. This seems to be more popular this year, and I honestly think it looks good if it's done right. Tucked is when the wheel sits completely on the inside of the wheel well, and tucked can look a little wonkily. Tucked can look a little wonky though if you recently installed air suspension and your natural camber of airing out caused your wheel to sink in too far. This usually happens when someone runs the same wheels they had prior to the air suspension install, but it can also be super helpful to see how much you need to size up to get that perfect fitment. Other factors that affect wheel fitment will be ride height and alignment, which includes camber, toe, and caster. We can cover those in a different video though, so hold your horses. We'll focus on just wheels today and keep it simple. I had a lot of cowboy references in here. Yeehaw. Remember, folks. Yeah, I should stop. The more aggressive fitment has consequences like rubbing and driving. I can't get out of my country. Remember, the more aggressive fitment has consequences like rubbing and drivability. Like we mentioned above, if you're static and dirt nasty low to the ground, your perfect wheel fitment might just cause you to replace or repair some fenders. So be careful, guys. Super key thing here, the three main aspects of wheel fitment we will talk about are diameter, width, and offset. They all interact together and all matter when deciding which wheel you should go with. For example, you'll see that you could reduce 1 inch of width to gain 25 millimeters of negative offset for more concavity and a larger lip, but still have the same fitment. 1 inch is equal to 25.4 millimeters to give you an example. Let me pull out my handy dandy laptop here and let's check out some 370Zs, because I love those. I want one again. But I'm gonna show you guys the difference on offset here. So this first car that we're looking at, this 370Z, mind you, we're only referencing the front fitment. It's running a 19 by 10.5 plus 25 in the front. So as you can see, you know, it's pretty flush, fits well. Now, if you go over to this other 370Z, they're running a 19 by 9.5 and a -5 offset in the front. So also very flush. It's very similar fitment, but what we're wanting to show you guys here is how you can increase or decrease the width and then change the offset with that to give you a more deep dish wheel or a more concavity wheel and still having the same fitment. So it's pretty cool to look between the two and just see that you can achieve similar fitments with a completely different look. Make sure to use our gallery if you want to see what certain fitments look like on your car. There are tons of different types of fitment styles on our website, and you can even filter by the type of fitment, like flush, tucked, poke, nearly flush, and there's even a hella flush option. It's super easy to navigate to our gallery. You can check it out at fitmentindustries.com/gallery. And if you want to help others in their quest to find the perfect fitment, please add your car at fitmentindustries.com/add. Everyone will thank you for your help in not gatekeeping those fitment specs, because why do people do that? I mean, people complain about bunk builds, but then turn a shoulder on those who need help. Beats me. So when we're looking at wheels, diameter, it's one of the biggest factors to consider since this will affect the clearance to your car's body combined with tire sidewall. Also one of the simplest things to understand if you know how a circle works. Keep in mind what your stock size was and how much larger than that you're gonna go with now. Along with lowering your ride height, that can also affect your fender, fender liners, upper control arms, or anything else that can get in the way like pinch welds you might need to hammer flat. Now let's move on to width. This is simple. how wide your wheel is. That's width. This will really affect how much your wheel pokes out or tucks into the fender along with your offset. Width is also where we can play with the tire size and wheel width to get the stretch you want or want to avoid. Key things to remember here are the fenders and the clearance to the outer edge, and there's other things in there like your coilovers, spindles, brake lines, or anything else towards the inside of your chassis that you're going to want to watch out for when determining the width that you want to go with. Moving on to offset. Offset is more of the complicated topic, but it's the bread and butter. It's honestly one of the most important parts here. Offset is where the center of your wheel face sits in relation to the barrel of the wheel. If you drew a line through the middle of your wheel as a cross section, a zero offset would have your face in the dead middle. A positive offset pushes the face towards the outside of your wheel and results in less concavity and brings the fitment of the wheel inside towards the car. A negative offset does the opposite of that and will increase the concavity of the wheel and can also create a larger lip on the outer part of the wheel towards the outside of your car. This will push the wheel further out. You can play with offset and width to get the perfect fitment and look. Typically, people like as much of a negative offset as they can get in order to make the wheel have more concavity and or a larger outer lip. It's more of an aggressive look and it highlights features of the wheel a lot better than positive offset, depending on the wheel design, of course. Backspacing is affected by offset, with it increasing with a positive offset and decreasing with a negative offset. Backspacing simply is a distance from the back of the mounting pad to the back lip of the wheel. So with offset comes backspacing. You need to be conscious of your backspacing though to clear the parts of your vehicle such as the brake calipers, so definitely keep this in mind when you're choosing your offset. Moving on to tires. This can be a whole different video, but we'll do some quick info since you need tires on your wheels to drive without looking like a crazy person. I mean, you could try that. I don't recommend it. Tire width will affect how much stretch you have or don't have on your wheels. Aspect ratio is relative to your tire width and will determine how wide the sidewall is. If you go with a larger diameter wheel, you'll need to sacrifice sidewall size in order to not rub or hit anything in there. So in conclusion, use our wheel. Oh, I should probably tell you guys about that first. We have a wheel fitment calculator on our website. If you go into the website and you click on the drop down, you'll see all of our calculators which help you guys figure out all of these crazy little questions you have on what you need to dial in your fitment. Click on that calculator, check it out, and then after that, go to our gallery to see those examples of fitments you were looking for or thinking of. If you like what you see in the gallery, we make it super easy to buy that exact package and get the same look on your car. You don't have to have bought something from us to be in our gallery. We just want your wheel and tire fitment specs to help all of us who want to know that question, what fits? Check it out today, guys. fitmentindustries.com. Have a good one.